You're welcome to the Associative Machine Learning classes. So today, as promised, we are going to start dealing with machine learning with Weka. So how do you practicalize what you have learned so far in the Weka environment? So we are going to start. So what is Weka? Weka, with full meaning Weka environment for knowledge analysis. It's actually a very popular suite of machine learning software that have been written in Java and developed at the University of Weka, New Zealand. It is a free software under the GNU General Public License. So we are going to start with basics of how do you install Weka. So then after that, we're going to look into introduction to Weka environment. So now let's have a look at how do you install Weka. It's very straightforward. So you take hold of your machine. So wherever you are, take your you start by you open your browser. So whichever browser you are, so try to search for Weka download. Weka download. So this will take you to a couple of options. I recommend you start with this download direct from the actual university website there where it has been hosted. So you click, this is the one I'm recommending for you. Of course, there are other sources of download you can use, but this is directly coming from the Weka University, New Zealand, Computer Science Department. So try to go there, click it. So it takes you to the, you can see here, navigate to download. You can see machine learning software in Java. This actually, Weka actually has been developed using Java programming language. So this is a download. Click this download button. And then download button will take you to a couple of options. So we have the stable version. If you go down, you will see developer version. But I recommend you go for the stable version. So look for Windows. So if you are working with Mac OS or ARM processor, so whichever option you are working with Linux, so select the appropriate platform you are working with. So since mostly I know majority of us might be working with Windows, so we go here, you click here. So that will take you to downloading Weka directly. That will take you to downloading Weka directly. So if the download should start automatically after reaching this page, otherwise, so you can see your download will start shortly. Usually it should start now. It's downloading already, you can see. So the download starts. So depending on the speed of your internet, so it get downloaded within a few minutes. So once it's downloaded, then you double click the file, you go to the location of the file. So show in the folder, you can see here we have Weka here, Weka 3.8.5. So just double click it, then it will run it for you. So then it takes a couple of times. Once it completes the running, then it is time for you to launch your application. So you go here, you type Weka, you see Weka 3.85. So this is your application that's already installed. So click it. So it will launch the Weka application for you. So it's very simple. So it's a Weka as a package manager that you can use to install many learning schemes and tools. So it's just instructing you. So if you don't want to see this message, it's telling you that okay, there's a very important aspect of this Weka package. We call it the package manager. So you can find it under the tools menu. Usually as new systems are being updated, so you can always update your system. This is what this message is telling you. So if you click OK without checking this place, anytime you launch Weka, it will always bring you this information. So I click OK. So now, having launched Weka, this is what you're going to see here. Yeah, this is what you're going to see. Yeah. Yeah. So as you can see, this is the Weka GUI. So you have here, you have option to go, you have visualization, you have tools. So in this Weka tool, you can, if you click Package Manager, so I'm going to explain to us what you use the Package Manager for. I will explain it later on. However, what we need to use now is the Explorer. So we have the experimental option. We discuss the experimental option later. It needs, if you want to automate, a couple of tasks, you can do it in the experimental section. But for the basic one, let's start with the Explorer. So you click on the Weka Explorer, so it will open for you. So this is Weka Explorer. So this is where you're going to be doing your experiment and of some of the machine learning concepts you have covered so far. You can see the moment you open this Explorer, you can see that this place is the functionalities are gray out. See, the functionalities are gray out. So only the pre-processing file is open. So which means the only thing you can do at this point is you can open a file for the Weka. You can open a file that you want to use, your data set. You can open your data set. So it is assumed that you will have kept your data somewhere. So you need to open the file. Once you open the file, all the functionalities here will become available for you to use. So you can actually open your file here. You can open a URL. Maybe the data set you want to use inside is an online-based data. You can open it through the URL. You can also open from database. And actually, there's also option for you to generate artificial data. So depending on whichever option you want. So you can actually also go for, okay, I want to generate the artificial data, you can use it. So whichever one, you just get the data in, and then all the other functionality will become active. Now for now, so let's open a file. So, and that usually when you install Weka, there are some example data set that usually comes with the installation. So you just go to the location where you install Weka, and then you can open these example files. So now let's open the sample files, like diabetes dataset example that came with Weka. So open, you click open file. So we have to navigate to your location where you install programs. Usually we install program. Yeah, we install program. Where is the location for the program? Yeah, C. Yeah, usually we install program in C. So look for C, Windows. This is the location of my program files. These are program files. These are these are the 64-bit files. Weka actually 64-bit. If you remember when we were downloading. So if you actually downloaded 86, which is a very old system, majority of the systems now are coming with 64-bit. So this is for 64-bit machine program. So you go inside there. So double click, it opens for you. Then you can locate Weka. However, if you downloaded 86, then you are going to see it in the 86 folder. So this is Weka here for you. So this is the Weka. You now click the Weka. As you can see under Weka now, you can see we have data. This is the data we're looking for. Click it. You have these are sample data that came with the installation. See, these are weather forecasting data. These are high-risk data. These are hypothyroid data, glass prediction data, diabetes. Usually, let's go for diabetes. Diabetes is a very popular problem now. So in the society, so let's go for this diabetes data set. Usually, the data set for Weka comes with .arf. FF. But then when you have your own data, you can actually use Excel. Just put your data in Excel file and you save the file as CSV. See, that's why when you are searching for the file, you can say, okay, show me CSV. You can see CSV data. If you put your own data set in Excel, you can save as CSV. Weka will recognize your file. That is fine. But here now we are taking this file as an example, diabetes data. So we open it. You can see once you open the data, then you can see that all the functionalities of Weka becomes available. So you can click classify, clustering, associative mining, select attribute, visualize, everything become active. But for now, so this is the pre-processing tab. So you just loaded your file. I mean, your data set is now available. You can see, so you can click. These are the variables inside the file you have opened. So we have the first one. This is the first variable, the second variable, the third variable. As I click each, you can see here there's a summary here. There's a kind of a statistical attribute being displayed. So the minimum value here is 0, the maximum is 17, mean, standard deviation. This is for this variable. And you can see a little bit visualization of it here. So you go to the second variable, third variable, until the end of the variable, it will be showing you the summary of the statistic. And then, yeah. Then finally, this is the class. This is the class. This is the one we want to predict. This is what we want to predict. We want to predict, you can see here, this is the attribute. It has 500 people that tested negative. That is, they are not diabetics. And it has 268 people that have been diagnosed to have been tested. They tested positive to diabetes. Now, so which means we have 768 in total. That's the 768 number of instances. So this is the PIMA diabetes data. This is the name of the file. So you can see the visualization here. So 268 and then 500. These are the people that are suffering from diabetes. And these are people that are free of diabetes. Now, having seen that, so that is the representation of the data. Something I want to mention here is here you can actually play with your data set here. So you may want to remove. Maybe you want to remove an attribute here. You can see here. You can remove this attribute. I don't want this one. You want to remove 2, 3 attributes. That's okay. However, anything you do here, you can undo. You can see the button here. You can click undo. You can see you are back with all the data set that we had before. See, you undo as many times whatever you have done, and then until you have it gray. It means you can no more undo because all what you did has been they have been undo already for you. Now, so another thing to note is that this last variable here is automatically taken to be the output variable to be predicted. So when you are arranging your data in your Excel file, it is recommended that you make sure that the variable you want to predict is placed in the rightmost column of your Excel. See? So once you load it like that, automatically Weka will make it to be the class here. It will load it to be the last one. However, if you don't do that, then you might have to specifically identify which of these attributes should be taken by Weka as the output to be predicted. So when we go to classify, see, this is why we do prediction, either classification problem or regression problem. We do it under this tab called classify. Now, when you look at here, you can see here it identified that class, automatically identified that this is the class, this is what I want to predict. This is the output variable to be predicted. Now let's say for example that actually what we want to predict, if you decide to create your file in such a way that the output to be predicted is actually the first variable. In that case, you have confused Weka because Weka has usually select the last variable as the output variable. So you need to specifically now correct it. You now come here and say, okay, my class is not that. My class is this one, is the first one here. So you can specify the output variable by yourself. That's fine. However, I usually recommend for people that make sure in your Excel, the output variable should be placed in the last column. By so doing, because sometimes you might forget to come and specifically tell Weka here that please, my output is not the last variable, it is this one. You specifically select it. What if you forget? So you'll be predicting what you are not supposed to predict. So in order to avoid it, so I usually encourage that, okay, make sure that the output you want to predict is the one that is in the last column of your CSV file. So, and that will save you the problem of possibly missing it or forgetting to correct it. So this is the environment for the classification or regression operations. Now, so once when you are in this particular cycle, you can do a lot of things there. So we have discussed how to train, how to test. This is why you are going to select those parameters. You see, so we want to train with, this is percentage split. I want to train with 80%. The default value is 66. So I will change this one to 80%. So it means the system will use 80% of your data set for training. The remaining 20% will be used for testing of your system automatically. And you see the result of the testing right there in the system. Now, however, if you don't want to use percentage split method, then you can use cross validation, in which case you use tenfold cross validation. We have discussed this concept. You can also check out some of our videos that discuss cross validation procedures. So it could be fivefold. You just specify, I want to use fivefold cross validation. It's okay. So, but then the default value is 10. It could be more than 10, it could be any value. But from experimental result and some experience, usually 10 cross validation is always good. But if your data is really very few, you could use lesser number like 5 or so. That's if you are using. So another option is if you want to break the file, you want to break your data manually by yourself, in which case you want to separate training sets. So whatever the data you have input, you enter already in the pre-process stage is taken to be the training set. So it's okay, use the training set I've entered, because I've separated my file manually. So I have file number 1, which has been uploaded, is actually for training. Then once I train the system, then later I will say, okay, supply the test set. File number 2, this is for testing. Then I have to now select that file. You have to select the file. You have to open the other file for testing. This is assuming that you have divided your file manually into 2 files. File A, file B. A for training, B for testing. And sometimes some people try to divide into 3. You want to train, use file A for training, file B for validation, and file C for testing. So the same way, you upload the first one from the pre-processing here. You upload the first file here, as we did before. You upload the first file. We already uploaded it. You saw the way we did it. Then in the classify here, you're going to select, okay, use the training set, which is the one you uploaded already, file A. Then supply testing set. You're going to select the validation set first, which is file B now. You will see the result. Then again, after you have selected the file, then you can supply tested again. You select another file, which is for validation testing. That is if you want to do your evaluation using 3 types of sets. You have training set, validation set, and testing set. However, the very common one is to use 2 sets, training set and testing set, which is also okay. In which case, you just divide your data into 80% for training and then 20% for testing. So once you set this, how you want to break your data, the kind of evaluation pattern you want to use, the next thing is you need to select the machine learning algorithm that you want to use. This is where you come here. The default is 0R. It's a type of rule-based algorithm. So you go here, you see a lot of classifiers or machine learning algorithms. So you can see many of them. This is tree-based, decision tree, decision forest, random forest, so many other ones under it. But we'll start from this simple one. Usually I like to start from here. We call it lazy classifiers. This one, click it here, you can expand. You can see this button, you can expand the button, click here. You can see this is IBK. IBK is the one that is called k-nearest neighbor. When you put it here, you put over your cursor over it, you can see the description. This is k-nearest neighbor classifier. See, is k-nearest neighbor is like show me your friend, I'll tell you the kind of person you are. This is one of the very simple classification algorithm that you can use. You classify a particular instance based on those that are closer to that instance. If you have 3 friends and all of them, they are good, most likely you are going to be classified as good guy. This is the idea of IBK, or k-nearest neighbor. So I'm going to select k-nearest neighbor. We discussed it before. We are also going to discuss again. So let's select k-nearest neighbor. So you are ready to go. See? So this is, you have selected your algorithm that you want to use. The next is to click start, and then Weka will start running for you. So this is just taking through some of the functionality. We come back to how do you run your first machine learning experiment in Weka. So you can be on the lookout in the next video, inshallah, that will follow this. So this is cluster section. So if you want to carry out clustering, we have explained that also for you. There are situations whereby we don't have the output of the data that have been provided. The output is missing or is partially available. You have to use clustering algorithm to try to group this data together into groups, even though you don't know, okay, we have diabetes data and non-diabetes data set, but we don't know which data is diabetes, which one is non-diabetes. Maybe the output was missed or something happened somewhere, or we don't even know it. So clustering section is where we deal with this kind of problem. We call it unsupervised learning. We already described this also in the class. Unsupervised learning. This is where you deal with it in Weka. We also have associative. We have associative, so which is where you have you do associative mining. This is where we try to have a kind of like in the marketing, you want to see who buy this product. If somebody buy product A, which product do they also buy? This is what they use in kind of making some advertisement. The person who bought this also bought this recommendation system. You can see it online when you go to shop. So you try to see, oh, if somebody purchased this, he will purchase this. So when the business centers make promotion, they make promotion based on this kind of association mining. If they know that anybody that bought this particular product A will always buy B, they'll make sure they separate them so that you can take your time to look for the other product. And if they find out that people buy this product, they never buy this product, they can make it a promotion, they can add it together, buy this one, get this one free. This is under association mining. We already explained this. This is where you carry it out in Weka. Another functionality is here, select attributes. You select attributes. This is where you have, we call it feature selection. We have so many features. We want to try to see which one is better. We have like 500 features. We cannot use all of them, but we cannot just remove them at random. So we use some algorithm to try to see, okay, which one is better. We do it here in the select attribute function. We also have visualize, where you can also do a lot of visualization, try to see the output of your modeling and so many things. You can also, we want to visualize the way your data set looks like this is the data we enter now, you can see. So what is the relationship between the variable and the class? Relationship between this class and this another, what is the relationship between this variable and this variable? So visualization can try to tell us some of this relationship that appear among them. These are some of the things we can do as far as the Weka environment is concerned. So we'll be focusing more on the classification and which is where you're going to the one we call the supervised learning. This is what we are starting with, supervised learning. You carry it out here. So we are going to start with IBK, that is k-nearest neighbor, and I advise us to go and watch the video on k-nearest neighbor that is already available in our platforms, so you can understand how k-nearest neighbor actually works. So we are going to start with next time when we are going to talk about how to run your Fox experiment. we are going to be using k-nearest neighbor as an example of how you can use the Weka to do classification or regression, as the case might be. Before we end this video, I would like to introduce us to the one we call the another very important functionality. So I'm going back to the Weka where you started. So go back here. So I want you to see tools, package manager. Package manager is very, very important. So when you have new packages that is not available in your package, you can bring it in. For example, if I go back to my classify here, if I want to choose here, you see there are some, let me go to function here. You can see I have SMO, you can see SMO. So there's one we call SMO is for support vector machine. There's something we call LIB-SVM. It's one of the very powerful machine learning algorithm, but it's not here. You see, LIB-SVM is not here. It's not available. You can see. You see, because this is a fresh installation of Weka, so it doesn't come with the package automatically. That's fine. So this is the purpose of that particular package. So when you go here, you can go to the tools, you click package manager. If you open package manager, you can see it's trying to establish, it's trying to open the package manager. It will bring for you so many other functionality or algorithms of Weka that are not presently in your system. You see, they are not yet installed. Yeah, this is the package manager. I hope you can see it clearly. So package manager now is opened. So you can see, you can refresh the repository cache. So these are some of the algorithms that are there. You might want to add it to your installation. You see, it automatically makes it to become part of your system that you can use. See, so many applications are there. If you want to make it to be Python integratable, these are some of the things you can use. Now, so many things are there. Let me type here what I want. I want SVM. I search for what I want from this package manager because it can add new package. You can see now, look at it. This is LIB linear, LIB SVM. This is what I was mentioning. It was not part of my application before. You see, I open it again. You can see, if you go here, try to locate it. It's under function. This is SVM. You can see the LIB SVM. It's missing there. And I like to use it when I want to use support vector machine algorithm. I like to use that one because it's a very, very nice support vector machine version. So right from the package manager, I can add it there. I just click LIB-SVM. It's telling me this is the version I have in the repository. So it can do the LIB-SVM. The advantage is that it can do classification and regression together. Unlike the one I have here, you can see here, there are some SVM like SMO. SMO is only used for classification problem, while SMO reg is going to be used for regression problem only. So this one can only do regression. This one can only do classification. They are both part of support vector machine algorithm. However, if I'm able to add this one, LIB-SVM or lib-SVM, lib-SVM is able to do classification and regression together. So I click it, and then I can say install. Then I'm going to install. The following packages will be installed or upgraded. I say yes. Yeah. It's okay. He said, please close any open Weka application windows or Explorer experimental knowledge flow before proceeding. It's okay. See, it's going to install. Why it's wanting me to close it is this. Let me explain this to you. See, if I don't close it, even after finishing the installation, if I come here, I will not see it here. And because I have opened this before the installation. So I need to close Weka and open it again before I can see the new addition from the package manager. So that is it. Yeah, I think the installation is complete. Yeah, loaded. Yeah, now successfully I've added this to my package. So I go back here. If you choose here, you check function, you cannot see it there. libsvm is not there because I opened this before the installation. So rather, I need to go and launch another package another explorer. Okay. Yeah, this is launching another explorer. This is a new explorer now. So you open. I need to open the file as usual. As usual, this is a new explorer. So classify, cluster, everything is gray out because you cannot use them until you supply the file. So open the file. Remember, you go to where you store your data. I mean, you install your application. So open the Weka and get your data there. This is just for training, for trying. This is just for training now. So you can put your data anywhere you like it. Just locate it and open. We are opening diabetes data. Yeah. So once we open the data now, we can use classifier. So we go to classifier. We go to function. Can you see now? This is lib. This is libsvm. You can see that libsvm is not available. I cannot select it. You see, the explorer, because you can open more than one explorer at a time. This first explorer I open, if you see it here, you can see that libsvm is not there because I opened it before I did the package addition. So you can see it's missing here. You see, this was the first Weka Explorer that I opened, but the new one after installing the libsvm from the package manager, you can see that now you can see the libsvm there. So this is how you can add any package that you need. You can add it to your already installed Weka. So that is package manager is very, very important. And don't forget, you get access to it from here. You go to tools, then you click package manager. It will open for you. You can search whatever you need. So I want auto. Yeah, you can search whatever you need. Yeah, I want auto. See, there's something they call auto Weka. This is where we can use Weka to also automatically build some model. We're going to talk about it later on. So auto Weka is not there yet, so we can add it. It can do classification, regression, and attribute selection. We can also add it. So you can install a lot of things. So package manager is very, very important. So you can always, this is one of the advantages of Weka, you can always add new functionality that are just being built. You don't need to reinstall again. Except if you feel that, okay, your installation is too old, then you can reinstall new installation, maybe new versions. Otherwise, just keep adding the new release that is being made available through the package manager. So these are some of the very important things, and they're taking you through the Weka environment. I think they are very, very important for you to note. So next video, we are going to be discussing how do we do supervised learning. So here you are going to be able to run your first machine learning experiment in the Weka environment. So you'll be on the lookout. So what we have done today is to take you through how to install Weka and also to introduce you to some of the very important Weka environment functionalities and how to navigate them. So by the grace of God, by the next video, we are going to continue taking you to running your first machine learning experiment, and that's going to be the next thing to do. So let's keep a date with the next video. Be on the lookout. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.